You might have already seen pictures of it online, but this is the 2026 Jeep Recon's big unveil. We finally have all the specs and everything you need to know about Jeep's windowless, doorless off-road EV.
We're Edmunds, and we test hundreds of cars each year on the road and at our private track, so you get the most trusted reviews. If you want to know which car, truck, or SUV is the best, then stick with us.
If you were waiting for an EV Bronco, well, this is as close as you're going to get right now. It looks kind of like a mashup between the Cherokee and a Wrangler, but it is much wider. It's wider, it's more squat, it's almost like a rectangle on wheels. It's a really interesting shape, but it looks tough, it looks muscular, it looks super off-road ready, especially in this Moab trim with a few Mopar accessories on it. It'll be the first one that comes to market in 2026 when production starts. And you can tell it's a Moab because it's got the stickers, it's got these chunky tow hooks on the front, and it looks kind of more butch, more off-road ready. Also, Jeep has been doing this Russian doll thing recently where this kind of looks like a bigger Cherokee, and if I was a betting man, I would say that the next Wrangler is going to look a lot like this. Their design language is going to get a lot more consistent over the next couple of years, so Jeeps are all going to look relatively similar, and they've been on a roll. There's a new Grand Cherokee, they've reworked their Wagoneer range. Jeep is doing a lot of work to try and get back to the top of the off-road game, and this is their template. Under the skin is a battery pack that is just over 100 kilowatt hours, and the Recon will have two electric motors, one at the front and one at the rear. The one at the rear will have a electronically locking differential, but the one at the front stays open all of the time. Together they make a combined 650 horsepower, and 0 to 60 will be in about 3.8 seconds. The downside is that it's only going to get about 230 miles of range at launch, and then later more street-ready trims, less off-road focused ones, will get up to 250. That is not very good, especially when you look at something like the Rivian R1S that can do well over 300, and it kind of has the same buyer in mind. That said, this starts at a lot less money than an R1S. All in, it'll be around $66,995 to start. If you're looking for a brand new car, electric, off-road, or otherwise, head on over to Edmunds.com and we'll give you an instant cash offer on your car.
Jeep didn't give us peak charge rates for the Recon just yet, but because it runs on a 400-volt architecture, we're going to assume that peak charging is around about 190 kilowatts. Also, Jeep did say that it will charge from 5 to 80% in just 28 minutes on a DC fast charger. Approach angle for the Recon is set at 33.8 degrees and the departure angle is 33.1. You also get 9.1 inches of ground clearance on this Moab model with its big off-road tires. Those figures are somewhat down on something like a Wrangler Rubicon, but it's still pretty good for something so big. It's worth noting that the Recon is almost half a foot longer than a Wrangler Unlimited, and it comes in at almost a ton heavier, more than 6,000 pounds.
So who is this really for? Despite Jeep's super hardcore off-road reputation, this feels a lot more like a lifestyle vehicle to me. Yeah, you can take the doors and the windows off, but I picture myself cruising up PCH more than I do Moab. Charging infrastructure in remote places like that isn't that great yet, and this thing's range is far from exceptional. This is the type of car that's for somebody who likes the idea of off-roading but isn't going crazy with it. It's the weekend warrior type, not somebody who lives, eats, and breathes it. Inside the Jeep Recon, you're getting a pretty new design language here from Jeep. The buttons and haptics will be familiar to you, and so will this drive controller and the mode selector, but the design of the dash, the design of the screen kind of feels almost Hummer-esque. It feels very modern, very thoroughly thought of as a futuristic type of product in here. I really dig it. That said, there are a couple of things that I really don't like in here. And this is one of them. The climate controls have been moved into the screen. And I know I complain about this a lot, but picture this. You are off-roading, it's a hot summer day, you have sweat and sunscreen dripping down your hand, and instead of just twisting a knob for the fan speed and twisting it down for the temperature, you have to faff around with the screen and it might not register your inputs properly. I just really think that's a misstep, and we have to get back to using physical controls for things like the climate. It's just better. That said, there are a bunch of physical controls in here that do a lot of important things. There are buttons here for the lane keep assist, turning that on and off, the traction control button, auto brake hold, hill descent control, which this comes with, and there are toggles here for all of the modes. You got rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, and sport mode, and there's also a button here for the locking rear differential. If you are familiar with any of the other Jeep products, you're going to be pretty familiar with what's going on in here. This is straight out of a Grand Cherokee, and the screen here has the same sort of graphics package as you would get in a Grand Cherokee. The steering wheel, while sort of squircly in shape, has the exact same buttons and commands as it does on the Cherokee, on the Wrangler, on all of the other Jeep products. So Jeep aficionados are going to feel right at home in here. If you're interested in learning even more about the 2026 Jeep Recon, head on over to Edmunds.com. We've got ratings and reviews on almost every single new car on sale right now. Inside of the back of the Recon, you'll notice that it's a lot bigger than a Wrangler in here. You get a lot of knee room and a lot of headroom because this thing is actually quite big on the outside too. You also have this big sunroof that extends almost all the way to the back of the rear bench. 2 air vents, 2 USB-Cs, and a household outlet down here. It's actually a really nice, spacious place to be.
When the Recon goes on sale in 2026, it'll have competition from the likes of Rivian in the form of the R2 and cheaper versions of the R1S, and that's kind of it. There just aren't that many off-road focused EVs on the market right now, so Jeep is entering a pretty new, unestablished space here. It's worth noting, however, that the Recon is the only one of those 3 that you can take the doors and glass out of for an almost dune buggy-like experience, and for some, that's going to be a big draw.
So that's our first look at the new Jeep Recon, and on first blush, I actually like what I'm seeing here. It's cool, it's rugged, it's tough, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. You can pick up one of these bad boys starting in the middle of next year. Thanks for watching our short first look of the 2026 Recon. If you like what you saw, feel free to like the video and subscribe to the channel because it really helps us out. We'll see you in the next one.